Hi, I'm Patrick Gilmore, and this is Deconstructing Destiny. When you think sci-fi icon, a ship's bridge might be the first thing that comes to mind. And in Season 2, Destiny opens up a little more for the crew with the discovery of her bridge. And it's a truly iconic-looking bridge at that.
Towards the end of last season, we talked about that at the top of Season 2 is when Rush would break the code, Destiny's master code, and in doing so, would gain access to the bridge.
We couldn't find the bridge right away because having a room full of functionality that we couldn't actually interface with was going to be a useless room. The control interface room became our bridge through all of Season 1.
The control interface room, I mean, it's a great looking room, but there's nowhere to sit. You're always standing at the consoles.
I wanted it to be more like an old-fashioned naval bridge. Captain's chair, navigation, control, weapons consoles.
Even that you go to the bridge of a luxury liner on Earth, and it's not going to look actually that much different from our bridge. You know, there's going to be a captain's chair and probably people in front of him or to the side of him who are, you know, helping him, providing him information, getting sensory data from whatever, and then those people are going to relay that information back to a captain who's probably sitting in a big chair.
You're actually able to sit down. It actually is more in keeping with, I guess, the look of a spaceship, a command center of a spaceship.
A ship like this has got to have a pretty spectacular bridge, and we always knew that we would eventually find it.
That had to be pretty cool. We had raised the bar so bloody high in terms of how the ship looked. The bridge had to be amazing. This was a very big, shiny, expensive set.
At that point, we realized that where are we going to put the bridge? Where is the bridge? Because we also had all these establishing shots of Destiny traveling through FTL, Destiny in regular space.
Because we hadn't revealed the bridge before, it kind of had to appear out of nowhere on the outside of the ship, and so it literally did that. It literally rose up from the top of the tower because it had been hidden all that time. It was cool from that standpoint because we hadn't shown the bridge before, but it also made sense, I think, in many ways to have a bridge that could be lowered or raised depending on the threat level.
And then in battle situations, it can go down for a protective measure, which I thought was a stroke of genius.
We can see out the windows when we want to see out the windows, when there's a nice, cool nebula or something that the characters want to look out and see, because there's no replacement for that. But in a combat situation, okay, that window is probably a particularly vulnerable spot right on the ship.
It's the nerve center. It's the central nerve center of Destiny. Now that we have the bridge, we can control the shields, we can fight battles.
Having the ability to steer the ship is huge, especially in battles. Being able to control the weapons, being able to transfer energy from one particular area to the other.
It's a pretty big jump in responsibility. What they could only before observe in the control interface room, they now have the buttons to actually push to drop the ship out of FTL.
So basically they're able to steer. They're able to, at one point, actually even go off the course laid out for them by the seed ship. And of course, that leads to all sorts of trouble. And you realize you don't want to leave the path.
They have absolutely no choice but to try to fly this thing. And they're going to make some mistakes.
You thought this was going to be easier, didn't you? Thought all you'd need to do is turn the key.
Until I can be sure I know how to use each function. Wouldn't want to stop accidentally in range of another binary pulsar, would I?
Good plan.